So welcome back guys. In this video we're gonna see this another lead code problem that is named as a single number. So if you are actually single in your life, then this lead code problem will reflect your life. Just kidding. So let's start with a single number. So what you have to do here is that you are given a non-empty array of integers and every element appears twice except for the one. So there would be every element that will be repeating in an array, except there would be only one element that is present that is a single unique non-repeating element in the array, and we have to identify what is that element and we have to return that element in the end. So there are multiple approaches to solve this problem, but the most unique and the most efficient is the bitwise manipulation. Why I'm using that? Because there is a requirement that you must implement a solution with a linear runtime complexity and use only constant extra space. Linear and runtime complexity means it should run in on time. So there is a requirement, and the second requirement is that we don't have to use any kind of extra space. So there is another approach to solve this problem, that we can use hash maps, but hash maps will use an additional space, but we don't have to use any kind of additional space. That is the main requirement. So here we are. I'm just using the another approach that is known as the bitwise manipulation, bitwise operator, right? So how does that mean? So let's just see first how we can just solve this. So this is an array given to us, and you can see there is the 2 repeating, there is another 2 repeating, but you can see this is the 1. This is the element that is the non-repeating. So this will be our final return value, right? So if you just see in example number 2, then you can see the 4 here, 1 here, 2 here, 1 here, 2 here. So you can see that 1 and here 1, these two are repeating, and this 2 is also repeating. So only unique number we have right here is 4, so it will be returned. Now how do we gonna solve this problem? So there is a most efficient way to solve this problem is a bitwise operator. And which operator do we have to use is here we have the XOR operator. So if you don't know about the XOR operator, how this XOR operator works, so here are some of the properties of the XOR operator, and that if a number is XOR with 0, then the same number will be returned. If a number is XORed with itself, then it will be 0. And XOR operator also works on the commutative property, like if this A XOR B XOR C will be equivalent to A XOR C XOR B, or you can change its order, so it will be same in any order. So these are the three main properties of the XOR, and we will implement this XOR operator in this example. So let's see how we're gonna implement it. Now here you can see that we have this array, and I have just written it in kind of binary numbers. So 2 is written in binary numbers, this list is written in binary number, this example is written in binary number. So first let's see this example, and for this example we have, you can see here is that this list, and for this list what we have is that we have to first XOR these things. So according to these properties, you can see here, according to these XOR properties, if you apply these properties here, so you can see that this 2 and this 2 is same. So what do we have to do according to this second property, that if the same numbers are XORed with each other, then their equivalent is 0. So the final will be 0 XORed with 1, right? And 0 XORed with 1, and a number, any number XORed with 0, it's the same number. So the final answer would be your 1. So the final answer for this example is 1, and you can clearly see the 1 is the unique number. Now again, you can see here in this example, you can see clearly that we are XORing these things. And the first of all, if I just say that this 2 and this 2, if these two are XORed together, then their equivalent will be 0. Their equivalent will be 0. And if this 1 and this 1 is XORed together, then their equivalent will also be 0. So these two equivalent will be 0, and this 2 equivalent will be 0. So the final that we have is that if this 4 is XORed with 0, then the final answer you will have is 4. So this 4 will be your final returning answer, and you can see that this 4 is the only single unique non-repeating number in this array. So I hope you understand this approach, and it is a very easy explanation. I hope you understand it. Let's just move on to the coding part. So here we are, and the very first thing that I have to do here, that I will just initialize a variable named as result, and I just initialize it with 0. Now why I declared it is 0, I will just tell you in a minute. First, what you have to do, we have to just check this for n in nums. I'm just running a loop into the list. So this loop will be responsible for the time complexity, for the linear time complexity, right? So the linear time complexity will become on. So it will because of this for loop. Now what I have to do, I'm just using this result is equals to result, which is OR with n, right? That the result I have declared here is 0. So this 0 will be ORed with the numbers. So this 0 will be ORed with the numbers, and we will eventually got the number here, right? So in the first iteration, if I just take this example, I'm taking this example here. So the first is 0. In the first iteration, 0 is ORed with 2. So the result will be 2. This is the result variable. So the result variable will be updated in the iterations. So in the next iteration, when this 2 with XORed with this second element 2, then what it will return? It will return 0. And now this again in the third iteration, we can see this 0, when this 0 is XORed with 1, then the final return value will be 1. So this will be our final return value. So this is what we are doing here. And in lastly, we are just returning the result. We are just returning this result. So this is the basic implementation. Let's see, let's just run this. And you can just clearly see that all of our test cases are passed. So this is how this single number leet code problem will be solved. If you have any queries, so you can definitely ask me in the comment section. Thank you so much.